Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours, a storytelling podcast with me, your host, Trey Everett. Hello and welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours. I'm your host, Trey. You guys, we've been doing this show since January 1st of this year, 2022. It's pretty incredible. I'm pretty proud of that. We've done over 40 episodes, 40 different stories. Pretty rad. Today's no exception. This Monday is just like every other Monday. I have an incredible story for you from an incredible guest. This guest is a stand-up comedian, a really hilarious storyteller, so I'm really excited for you guys to hear today's story. Please welcome to the pod, Logan Guntzelman. My band just had a show this past Thursday, and we've only done a couple shows since we've been able to play live music again. And I don't know, what I'm curious about is like doing comedy in LA. Mm-hmm. Now that the pandemic has happened and like to the point where we are kind of starting to be able to do things more regularly again, have you found that it's like easier to get people to come see your stand-up shows, or are you having a more difficult time getting people to come see your stand-up shows?
It's funny because so far I feel like saying it will jinx myself.
Yeah.
But like,
if you want to use codes, you're welcome to.
Like for the most part, it seems like people want to be out.
Yeah.
So like a lot of shows I've done because pre-pandemic, it was very common that a lot of shows you did, there were just not a lot, like 3 or 4 people there sometimes.
For sure,
maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
And now for the most part, there have been audiences. Like it seems like people want to be out. The funny thing though is sometimes, and it's been happening less the further we've gotten from like full on lockdown, but like people just want to be out and see their friends and talk and forgot that they bought tickets to see stand up. So you feel like you're interrupting because it's like they've been inside for so long. And that's the thing that's wild. The few times I've seen music, I've been to concerts. I don't know. I've been to a couple, but like, I didn't even realize, because obviously it's super loud when you're playing music, that people can just talk at concerts. Like, yes, sometimes they just scream, but like at first I was like, isn't it rude that they're all talking? And then I was like, oh wait, this is different. They don't have to be quiet for this.
It can definitely still be rude though sometimes.
Yeah.
But that being said, the reason that we're connecting today is because you're going to tell me a story.
Yes.
I love it. I'm ready. Whenever.
So did you narrow down, like, is there one in particular you feel like hearing on a Tuesday? What are you in the mood for?
I honestly, it's kind of interesting. I've had one of those days where I'm genuinely prepared for anything. So I would say if there's anything specifically tugging at you that needs to be told, just go with it.
Tugging at me. Man. This is a really good part of a podcast, just a lot of silence. If you want to,
that's great. I'll keep it in too. I'll keep this in too.
My tense silence. I guess, do you want to hear about when I went to doctor camp?
Doctor camp?
Yeah, camp for people who...
Camp for people who want to be doctors?
Yep.
Let's do that one.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do
good.
doctor.
Let's keep the mystery of the time I committed a crime.
Yeah, maybe we don't implicate you in a crime today.
Yeah. So sometimes people will be like, oh, if you didn't do stand-up, what would you, like, what career would you have wanted?
Yeah.
And for a really long time, I wanted to be a doctor. That was that was the plan when I went to college. I was going to go to medical school.
Oh, wow. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in LA.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're like an actual Angelino.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm from the San Fernando Valley, so cool. Anyone who's from LA is always like, well,
I grew up in Houston, so as far as I'm concerned, you're from LA.
I count.
I love that.
But so what a lot of high schools have that, like, because there were kids from all over this thing, is if you're a student that does well in the sciences, a teacher can quote unquote nominate you to go do, it's like a national youth leadership it's some dumb thing where you get a certificate and it looks good on college applications.
Yeah, for sure.
And so and this one in particular, you spend 10 days on a college campus, and you learn like a bunch of weird stuff about being a doctor. Like we learned how to give like suture stuff, like stitches.
Wow.
We did it on a banana.
So this is like actual doctor shit. This is like actual medical stuff that you're learning.
Toured like medical schools. We learned how to triage.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was like a very funny triage thing where like you would just have an index card with what your injury was, and other 17-year-olds would triage you depending on your injury. So like, and you just would kind of act like you had a broken leg or like you were in labor. You would just kind of act like whatever. But so, and you live in dorms on a college campus. And the one I did, I was at Georgetown, I think.
Okay.
But I'm obviously not a doctor now. And, you know, I don't, so when I was at doctor camp, you had roommates. I had a roommate,
mm-hmm.
and I feel like this is 2007, okay. I think. So people didn't have smartphones yet. This is important.
Yep.
Yeah. You had like your flip phone, and then if you listened to music, you had like the iPod Classic with the clicky wheel.
Yep.
Like with the metal back that was like as thick as a deck of cards.
Yes.
And so at the time, because
those were the good old days.
Yeah, those things, they had so much music.
No, seriously, yeah.
Like, but so at the time I was a moody teen and I would listen to music as I fell asleep, you know, just have little I was gonna say AirPods, but those didn't exist yet. Whatever, earbuds.
Yeah.
Those earbuds. And so my roommate, the 10 nights, my roommate, first night, I'm laying in bed, I'm drifting off, I have my headphones in. So I'm like powering off my iPod, but it's under the sheets. Like you can just hold the button down without looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Unbeknownst to me, my roommate, she gets a phone call on her old school flip phone. And I knew, she told me earlier she had a boyfriend, and she starts having phone sex.
Oh no.
With her boyfriend. And so I'm panicking because I don't want to interrupt. So what I do, without looking, I just start pressing buttons on my iPod, like just any music, because my headphones are still in. I was like,
100%. Yeah.
It's better than this. And I didn't realize I was opening I had downloaded the soundtrack to the movie Euro Trip.
Oh God.
So the only song I played on repeat the whole time while this was happening was the song "Du" by David Hasselhoff, which is all in German. So I listened to that on repeat for like hours till I drifted off.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then she had phone sex with her boyfriend every night. Every night this happened.
No.
Because it was like, you know, your hormones are raging. It was the summer before senior year. Yeah. So like,
yeah, well, that's the era of phone sex too.
Yeah, like, you know, your phone quality was too poor for good sexting photos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And G9 was slow. Like,
100%,
if you wanted to have phones, you would just talk it out. You wouldn't, you know. But so that happened every night. Then every single night for 10 days.
So unbearable.
So all night, like leading up to as soon as like after dinner, and it was like evening activities and going to our room, I was getting stressed because I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And I don't think I know. Yeah. And I don't think podcasts weren't a thing. So it was like just whatever random music.
Oh my God.
And then, and of course I'll answer any and all questions about the doctor aspect of the camp. But that at this point felt not as important.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was also like, I don't think this woman should be a physician. If she's, if her sense of boundaries feel off, I'm in the room. She knows I'm here. Yeah. This feels wild. So then the plan was at the end of doctor camp, my parents were going to fly. I think that, or my dad drove, my mom flew, something like that, where they were going to meet me in DC, where Georgetown is. And then we were going to go look at colleges. Because at the time I was going to like a fancy prep school. I wanted to go to like a fancy college. Just a real waste of money.
Yeah.
A real spoiled brat. I feel bad. But that was, so then we were going to go look at like Duke and like Johns Hopkins and like all those fancy science schools, whatever. Yeah. But so I finally finished doctor camp. I meet up with my parents and we're staying in like a motel that's like 2 queen beds or something in the room. My parents had been apart for a week. My mom had been working. Yeah, you know what's about to happen.
No, Logan, the first night,
my parents have sex with me in the room.
No.
So I went from 10 days of my roommate having phone sex, and then my parents had sex. And I was like, you know what? I'm over being a doctor. I don't want to do it anymore. This is the world being like, don't do it. Yeah. So.
Oh, my heart breaks for you.
Yeah, it was. That's why, and I feel bad. I'm like, there have to be like other memories from that camp that were impactful.
You were there all day for 10 days.
I was there all day for 10 days. Like we saw cadavers. Like we did. My God. But the main thing, I was like, yeah, no, it's just everyone was too horny. It's the
literally everyone.
Everyone was too horny.
Can't imagine spending 10 days where you experience this with a stranger only to finally be in a safe space where you can get some normal sleep.
Yeah. Nope. No. Because that was the thing is my dad said, is she asleep? That's how it started.
You're like, no.
but I could tell by the way he asked. Because at that point, at 17, like I'd started hooking up with boys. I knew it. Like I could tell by I was like, I know why he's asking this. So then I just like shoved my fingers so far in my ears.
Oh no.
Like I think I drew blood. I'm not sure. And then the next morning I called my brother. I told my parents, I was like, I'm going to go on a walk, which is a weird thing for me to do. And I was like walking around and I called my brother because I was just like, I don't know what to do. Mom and dad had sex with me in the room. And my brother, in a positive way, like he jokingly was like, hell yeah, dad's still getting it in. Like, he like gave me a high five when I saw
not right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I will laugh at this months from now.
Yeah.
Now, no. So, and like people are like, well, good for your parents that they're still. I'm like, yeah, no, that's great. You weren't there though.
Yeah. You're like, so, that's also not why I brought it up. Yeah. Oh my
So good for them, I guess.
Did you like ever talk to your parents about it, or did you ever have the conversation that you were aware?
No, not
perfect.
I didn't. But it's also my parents had a history of their room was right above the kitchen growing up.
Oh God.
So me and my brother and my sister were always jokingly like, yeah, they're still banging it out, like, for sure. Because we would sometimes hear stuff upstairs, and then my dad would come downstairs, and his hair would kind of be all over the place. Like, what do you guys do? Because whenever we'd hear stuff, we'd turn up the TV or the radio really loud.
Naturally.
And then they would hear it from upstairs. So my dad would come down and be like, why is everything so loud down here? And we're like, why? In our heads, we're like, what do you mean? Like, why do you think? But they didn't know that the sound was traveling all the way downstairs. God. So I got the worst of it. So like we always had experienced them hooking up in the vicinity of us, but I was the only one where I was literally in the same room.
You had like the VIP experience. I'm so sorry. That's so terrible. It is kind of amazing also, but that is so terrible, and I'm so sorry.
I mean, it was just based on where I'm at now, job-wise. Like because ultimately when I was deciding whether or not to be a doctor, was this whole week a huge factor? No. But I was like, oh, well, you know what? I'll give comedy, like, because it takes around 7 years to get through medical school and like residency, all this, I think. And I was like, you know what? I'll give comedy 7 years and see where I'm at. Because in my head, I was like, I was already committed to spending 7 years before even being a doctor, and I'll probably be in less debt.
Yeah.
Not going to medical school and trying this. The joke, of course, being that, I mean, no one's ever, I'm not, it's impossible to quit. It does become pathological at a certain point. Like,
yeah. I would argue most art forms end up becoming pathological and like a need and not necessarily a want anymore.
Yeah, where you're just like, this is kind of
inertia,
I guess. I don't even know if I'm using that word right, but
I'll allow it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that was a huge factor. Also, while I was at doctor camp, one of the guys I've had very positive experiences with people from the South, but one guy, we were sitting at a meal somewhere and he commented that I was the first Jew he'd ever met. And that was an interesting, he said it, but like not in a mean way. He was just like, oh, you're
he
the
was
first
probably
Jew.
Genuinely in awe.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay, well,
you're like,
hello.
Thank you.
On behalf of all of us.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What a formative experience that was.
Does that count as a story? I don't know.
Of course that counts as a story.
Okay,
no,
good,
that's perfect. Are you kidding me?
Good.
That's exactly the kind of story that we're looking for.
Okay.
Oh man, that is so funny. Wait, so do you remember, I'm guessing that was like your junior or senior-ish year?
It was the summer before senior, because I also remember the funny thing, and this is, I guess, well, this is not me committing a crime, but at the time, I worked at a day camp.
Careful.
I worked at a day camp, so I took like a week and a half off to do this.
Okay.
And the day camp, all the employees were a mix of people in high school and also people like in college. So I was hooking up, but no sex, with a man who was 23 when I was 17, which not great, but he like very nice. We had the same job. We didn't know till after. And he very much was like, absolutely not. We're not going to do that. You are underage. So like very nice man. But so we'd sometimes talk on the phone, and I like was annoyed because I was like, I'm not going to have like a phone sex contest with this other girl. But I started getting annoyed where I was like, it's not that I'm alone and that's why I'm not having phone sex. I'm just not gonna. But so I remember clearly that it was the summer before senior year, because it was when it was that guy.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just remember talking to him in the hall and being like, she keeps having phone sex. He's like, do you want to like, I was like, no, because then it's just to like prove a point. Like, it's not because I want to.
Also, she thinks that you're asleep. So it's like, it's a war waging in your own head and nowhere else.
Yeah. And then also like, if I started doing it, would she be like, oh, what a coincidence. Like,
yeah.
I also wish there's no way for me to ever track down, like, I don't even remember what she looks like. Cause like the friends, cause I made some friends while I was there, but they were like, just, you know, like any camp experience, like random people you start talking to who aren't necessarily. And so I don't even, if I were to look back at pictures, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, so who knows if she's a doctor now?
I mean, if she is, I would assume she's got great bedside manner.
How dare you?
That's terrible. I regret saying that.
I just realized it could be very much that she was from like a strict household where like, and she shared a room with siblings.
Totally.
And like, this is the first time she could taste freedom. And she was like, I don't know my roommate. 100%. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I love my boyfriend. I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I never even thought about that because I was so focused on how terrible it was for me.
Yeah.
So maybe,
which is, I think that is completely appropriate to be focused on that in the moment.
Yeah.
But in hindsight,
a
wonderful
this is the first
point.
Time, yeah. I realized
maybe this was her first chance to experience that, and good for her. And I'm glad that she did.
Which
is like maybe not every night. You know what I mean? Like maybe like, let's sleep on Thursday, and then
or there was, you know, their dorm rooms. Go in the like communal lounge area, or a single stall bathroom.
Oh man! Oh my gosh! That's great. That is very, very funny.
Yeah, it was a good.
Oh man, And what a way to end that trip. Oh man, my heart literally breaks for you.
Thank you.
I know. Yeah, I'm here for moral support, if nothing else.
Yeah, feel free to write songs about it.
Like, guys, I have an idea for a concept album.
Yeah.
10 tracks, 10 nights. Yeah.
And then the bonus track is the worst.
It's like a secret hidden track at the end. Oh, no.
Yeah, that would be good.
Oh, that is awful. Thank you. That was perfect. That was
good.
wonderful.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Anywhere in particular I can specifically point people towards for you?
I mean, Instagram, I'm places I took a shit this year is my handle. Twitter is at Dirty Gunts.
Perfect.
I was banned from TikTok twice.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I have one, but I don't.
Yeah.
The magic is gone. Like I'll remember it and post sometimes, but that's places I took a shit again.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
If you want to see the one where I'm the least enthusiastic, follow me there, I guess.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. That's great. And then people can find your upcoming shows.
I have the link in my bio on Instagram is a spreadsheet because I'm lazy.
No, I love it. I actually clicked on it and I was like, this is actually honestly kind of brilliant. Because you can just update it all the time and you don't have to pay for a fucking website.
Yeah, and a couple people have been like, could I have access so I could make it look better? I was like, no, it is shitty. It's a spreadsheet. It's never going to be better.
It's literally a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
This is what it's supposed to look like.
But so, yeah, on Instagram, if you click that little link and you reminded me, I was like, I should probably update it. I haven't looked at it in a second.
I think I looked at it, I think last week, and I think you've got shows through mid-March in LA,
cool.
or the LA area.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're good. Yeah,
I'll Venmo you $1 for assisting me.
But if you could give me access, I'll just clean it up a little bit.
Yeah. We'll talk about it offline.
Okay, perfect. That's so good. Thank you so much. It was so fun to chat with you, and it was so great. And I'm in LA. I'm in Los Feliz, so I'll try and come catch a show that you have coming up in the area.
Yeah, and I mean, likewise, I've been to Hotel Cafe once because that's where Katy Perry got her start, and I was a big fan.
Yeah. I love it.
So, likewise, please let me know.
100%.
And thank you this was great. This is so fun.
I know. It was so fun to chat with you. I will give you back the rest of your whatever day it is. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Thank you, Logan, for that hilariously traumatizing story. I'm going to say it for what it is. If you want some extra time with Logan, head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/tellmeyours. You'll get the full interview there. It was so fun chatting with Logan. Please go check it out. If you want to follow Logan, I've got so many links in the show notes of today's episode. Go follow her on Instagram. Any social media platform, TikTok. She's hilarious. You will not regret it. Thank you so much, everyone, for continuing to listen every week. I love being able to let people share and tell these stories. It's so much fun. So until next week, be kind to each other, and we'll talk soon.